In 1995, when cell phones looked like this, Bill Gates was already describing smartphones with crypto wallets, calling them wallet PCs. Here's a few quotes from his book, The Road Ahead, written 29 years ago. Your wallet PC will be able to keep audio, time, location, and eventually even video records of everything that happens to you. The wallet PC will make it easy for anyone to spend and accept digital funds. Rather than holding paper currency, the new wallet will store unforgeable digital money. The wallet PC will store the keys you'll use to identify yourself. He then predicts the future of banking. Banking is destined for change. We will see electric online banks that have no branches, no bricks, no mortar, and low fees. The volume of transactions will skyrocket as the internet gives the average consumer direct access to financial markets. Investors with relatively small amounts of money will get better advice and have opportunities to make profits from the sort of investments now available only to institutions. I mean, it's all just so accurate, it's almost too accurate.
So the elite of this world have been telling us what they're planning on doing years before it ever happens. And if you hold Ripple's XRP or virtually any other altcoin in the industry, 99% of investors in the crypto space will not make it after this. And over the next few minutes, I'm going to explain exactly what I mean by that, with Bitcoin sitting at $60,000, Ethereum at $3,300, BNB at $558, Solana at $143, and XRP sitting at 47 cents. Was Bill Gates' depictions of smartphones with crypto wallets over 29 years ago just a coincidence, or was it all part of a secret plan? We have to talk about Bitcoin to the US dollar price chart, XRP's market cap dominance in comparison to the XRP to the US dollar price chart. We need to discuss Project Enbridge building a multi-CBDC platform for international payments and how that relates to Ripple and XRP, a game-changing partnership and collaboration between the Bank for International Settlements, Ripple, and Visa, what automated market makers are and why they're such a big deal for the future of XRP and for the DeFi ecosystem, and then what's happening with USDT as a stablecoin and how that's going to directly impact the rest of the market, with the MiCA's first legal framework for crypto assets beginning over in Europe right now, just in time for Ripple to introduce their stablecoin, which is a one-to-one US dollar backed stablecoin, later this year, along with other massive news that is taking place right now in the crypto market that you do not want to miss. Because this month, over the next 10 days, is going to be a very pivotal month for the future of the lawsuit versus Ripple versus the SEC, and also one altcoin that is on the verge of an explosive breakout that you need to keep on your radar the rest of this bull run. So comment 777 if you're feeling blessed, comment 777 if you're feeling bullish, and if you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree, confirm it by tapping the subscribe button. Let's run it. All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So let's dive right in. Let's talk about what's happening in the crypto market and how unbelievable this is, because this happened all the way back in 1995. This book by Bill Gates, The Road Ahead, saying that your wallet PC will be able to keep audios, time, location, and eventually even video records of everything that happens to you. Tomorrow, the wallet PC will make it easy for everyone to spend and accept digital funds. This is the biggest key right here, because it includes the storage of these keys you'll use to identify yourself, so digital IDs. And in 1995, this is what cell phones looked like at that time, before we ever had any iPhones. And so this was depth of vision that was, 30 years in the making. And coincidentally enough, by 1996, just 1 year later, this came out, called How to Make a Mint, the Cryptography of Anonymous Electronic Cash. And, I talked about this in previous videos with the NSA, the National Security Agency, and a reference of a guy by the name of Tatsuaki Okamoto, very similar to Satoshi Nakamoto. 12 years later, somewhere around there, Bitcoin comes out, and Satoshi Nakamoto is the creator that nobody knows about. So this is definitely pre-planned. It's very obvious. It's just nobody can prove and know exactly who Satoshi Nakamoto is, but we have some major hints and some clues that I'm going to share with you towards the end of this video on someone that played a major role in the creation of Bitcoin and what he's doing with Ripple right now. But before we talk about that, let's talk about Bitcoin's market cap and Bitcoin's price chart and what's happening right now for the direction of this market compared to the past. And so when we look on the left-hand side of the screen, you guys can see Bitcoin back in the year 2000, during that bull run up until 2021. And there's really two things that could be happening in a market. Well, there can be a trending market, or there can be a range-bound market where the market just moves sideways and it's very, very boring. And so there's either an uptrend, a downtrend, or range-bound sideways trading action. So what we're doing right now is very similar to what happened between, July of 2020 until October of 2020, where the market was range bound between $230 billion for Bitcoin all the way down to $180 billion. And so we breached all the way upwards of 230, saw this sell off and this correction period. And then we worked our way on out of here before we ultimately broke out in October of 2020. Now we can also see this right here in the RSI, where we see this downtrend in the RSI. And when the RSI bottomed out around 30, it started to work its way back on out of here. And also on the right-hand side of the screen, you guys can see a similarity here where the RSI topped out right here in February 2024. We see this downtrend in the RSI. The RSI just recently bottomed out at 26, with Bitcoin dropping to about $59,000. And we're riding on this ascending support right here. But anything between the resistance, which is, like 73 and nearly 74K, all the way down to like $56,000 right here on Bitstamp's price chart. There's different price charts, so we're not going to get too specific in terms of dollar amounts, but what you need to know is anything between these levels is completely irrelevant, because until we break either the support or the resistance, we're going to remain range bound and trade sideways until there's a decisive candle in either direction. Now, in order for us to understand what direction the market's going to move to and how that will affect the rest of the altcoin market, well, we can look at some other macro market news in terms of fundamental analysis and stuff that I'm going to share with you throughout the course of this video. Also, looking at the MACD right here, we can see that we are below the zero line, attempting to make a bullish cross, where the MACD line in blue is attempting to cross above the signal line in orange. So we've been in a downtrend on the MACD since this correction started back in March of this year, very similar to when we saw a bearish cross back here in August of 2020. The correction really started at that month, and then Bitcoin didn't see a bullish cross on the MACD until September of 2020 after the bottom had come in, and then we just trended alongside this ascending support and then ultimately broke out in October towards the end of this year. So I would expect, which I could be wrong here, that something similar to happen for Bitcoin, for us to remain range bound, trend along this ascending support and start working our way on out of here, and ultimately to see some sort of God candle come in closer to election and to see this RSI have a breakout of this descending resistance right here and to have a break to the upside, getting overbought again back upwards of 70 at some point closer towards the end of the summer, maybe September, October, November, or December. Now, again, this isn't financial advice. These videos are purely for education, informational, and example purposes only. If I share my opinion with you, that doesn't mean that it'll happen. In fact, crypto is very risky. By watching these videos, liking and commenting, you guys understand that you could lose a lot of money in these markets. In fact, most people do lose money in these markets because they operate off of emotion. They don't do their own research. So that's why I always encourage you to do your own research, consult your financial advisor, because I'm not one. So I make no recommendations to buy or sell anything. I'm just bringing the news. And when we look at Ripple XRP's chart, well, let's compare it to the XRP's market cap dominance, because what happens here is when Bitcoin starts to break out, altcoins generally, based on the past market cycles, lag behind until Bitcoin's dominance starts to drop. And during the last few bull run cycles, when Bitcoin broke upwards of $230 billion in market cap, that's when Bitcoin was breaching above $20,000, and it just marched all the way upwards of $360 billion, which was nearly $40,000. It wasn't until this phase right here when Bitcoin started to chop around and trade sideways for a period of time between November of 2020 till December of 2020, that's when altcoins started to move. And as you can see right here on the right-hand side of the screen, that's when XRP went from like 20-something cents upwards of 75 cents. And then, of course, the lawsuit hit and XRP was sold back down to 19, 18 cents, somewhere around there. But there's a key thing to note as well, too, because looking at XRP's market cap dominance to the rest of the industry, well, there's been periods where XRP has not only underperformed in comparison to Bitcoin, but it's underperformed in comparison to the rest of the market, where other altcoins like Ethereum, BNB, Chainlink, Solana, VeChain, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, a lot of the OG projects, during the 2017 bull run absorbed a large chunk of the market cap, while XRP was in this massive downtrend, getting closer and closer to 1% of the total market cap of the whole industry. And then right here, as you guys can see, in February, March of 2017, right after that period, XRP broke out from 0.005. We talked about this so many times, it went upwards of 39 cents, but we look for confluence here on the chart in order to understand what's most likely to happen next. Not necessarily when it'll happen, because we don't know the exact date, but what's happened each time XRP's market cap dominance has gone down to 1% or even lower. What's happened after that? So the next time that this happened was back in February, March of 2021, it looks like right here. And while XRP's dominance was dropping compared to the rest of the industry, that's when they were going through the lawsuit, and ultimately it bottomed out right here at about like 1.2%, somewhere around there, and it bounced off of this key support level that it was at back here. In 2017 it was a little bit lower, but right here was at about like 1.2%, and then XRP surged on out of there, and it went from 18 cents upwards of $2, and so that was a very good time to consider adding XRP to your portfolio back here when XRP was underperforming the rest of the market, just based on simple psychology. So what I look for is I look for a massive amount of negativity in the comments on Twitter, on YouTube videos about XRP, and I look for confluence on the chart to show me if XRP's market cap dominance is down near 1% or even lower. And if it's at that point, the comments are the loudest, the negativity is the loudest, the fear is the loudest, the amount of people that are scared that don't want to buy XRP is the loudest, that's when I pounce. That's when opportunity presents itself, because when everyone is bullish, when all the comments are positive, when everyone's saying we're going to the moon and there's no negative people, that's when I get out of the markets, because that's when most people get wrecked. It's just common sense. That's what happens virtually every single time. And so where are we right now? We're at 1.2% for XRP's market cap dominance. And so as long as we hold, a key support right here at like 42 cents for XRP, and Bitcoin trends higher and eventually breaks the all-time high, then I think XRP will follow alongside Bitcoin, ultimately lag behind a little bit as Bitcoin outperforms the rest of the market. But we will see, in my opinion, a bounce at some point on the XRP market cap dominance as that money rotates into XRP and other large caps when Bitcoin's dominance starts to fall. Very similar to what happened back here from November to December of 2020 when Bitcoin chopped sideways around $40,000. Actually, my bad, it was roughly around January of 2021 until February of 2021 that Bitcoin breached above $40,000, came back down to $29,000, and then worked its way on out of here. Well, what happened to the total to the altcoin market cap excluding Bitcoin? We saw a little temporary correction for the altcoin market, but it marched higher, forming this ascending triangle right here with higher highs and higher lows, whereas Bitcoin was forming this descending triangle with lower highs. And then once Bitcoin finally broke out again, that's when the altcoin market really popped to the upside and went upwards of about $700 billion in terms of market cap. So while Bitcoin was range bound, trading sideways between roughly $20,000 to $16,000, the altcoin market was range bound as well too, trading between roughly $240 billion to $170 billion. Once Bitcoin broke the all-time high and started trading to the upside, going upwards of $24,000, then going all the way upwards of $40,000, that's when the altcoin market was free to break out. So if we see Bitcoin start to rally back up to this resistance of roughly $72,000, $73,000, $74,000 and break the all-time high, well, I would just expect the altcoin market to march alongside Bitcoin and to break the all-time high as well too, because the altcoin market is still trading below the all-time high of $1.7 trillion. Right now, it's just broke below 1 trillion. It's at like $989 billion. And so for people to say that the bull run is over, in my opinion, the bull run has just barely started, and we're not anywhere close to the all-time high right now for total 2. So if Bitcoin breaks the all-time high and the entire altcoin market starts to march alongside that, while XRP continuously underperforms in terms of dominance, well, at some point, that's eventually going to reverse. I know I've been saying that for a long period of time. Well, we're in a downtrend right now, so we need to look for a trend reversal for XRP and for the dominance to bounce after finding a low within this key support zone that you can see on the left-hand side of the screen. So that would either be at roughly 42 cents. In my opinion, the only reason why XRP would trade below that and drop down potentially to 30 cents is if there's one final shakeout event for Bitcoin and Bitcoin sees a mass liquidation and mass sell-off to like $55,000 or $50,000. So XRP, I think, will hold very, very strong because it's been holding this ascending support for a long period of time, all the way back since like June of 2022. As you can see, it's just been trending higher and higher and higher while back testing this support multiple times. So if XRP continues to trend to the downside closer to 42 cents, we need to see Bitcoin bounce and start trading back upwards of 65, 70, and then eventually the all-time high to see XRP do the same thing and start trending alongside Bitcoin while still just underperforming the rest of the market until there's a massive shift of liquidity into XRP. And that brings me to the next part of this video, which is their secret plan that they've had in the works for decades, and all of these countries are in on it. They have non-disclosure agreements. The central banks are in on it. The Enbridge project, which is building a multi-CBDC platform for international payments, has the participating authorities like the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, the People's Bank of China, the Central Bank of the UAE, the Bank of Thailand, among many others. And here's one thing that's very interesting about Project Enbridge, because their platform validated the proposition that central banks, their digital currencies, can substantially increase the speed of cross-border payments from multiple days to nearly real time, while also reducing costs. This is exactly what Ripple is doing with XRP. And to continue building and testing the trial platform, the project team has collaborated extensively with the private sector to identify business use cases for different trial transactions on international trade settlements and outlining the future roadmap on their platform. Now, when we look at project participants, there's 19 financial institutions, 2 banking associations, and 1 exchange as shown below. And Ripple's Brad Garlinghouse has recently said they're working with 10 central banks on their CBDC technology. And if you look in this sheet right here, the main featured ones on one of the first pages of the BIS.org website is the Bank of Thailand. And just recently in June of this year, Binance.com came out with this article saying Thailand is in partnership talks with Ripple over XRP adoption. And this was according to an official document from the digital currency team at the Bank of Thailand from Ripple right here that you can see from an email where they say Ripple welcomes the opportunity to comment on the Bank of Thailand discussion paper, where this was making public the in-depth research and analysis undertaken for retail central banking digital currencies over in Thailand. The Bank of Thailand is the leader in the CBDC space and has already shown the importance of public-private partnerships, and Ripple welcomes the opportunity to assist the Bank of Thailand in the design and development of a retail CBDC. With over approximately 300 customers as of the date of this letter, Ripple's software products allows financial institutions to send money globally on a real-time basis at a fraction of the cost of traditional services available to market participants. Doesn't that sound exactly like what Bill Gates was predicting back in 1995? Using blockchain technology, Ripple allows financial institutions to process payments instantly, reliably, cost-effectively, and with end-to-end visibility anywhere in the world. And so Ripple's aim is not to replace fiat currencies, but rather to enable a faster, less expensive, and more transparent method of making cross-border payments. This is what central banks would want. So it doesn't replace the dollar, it simply assists in bridging it, over to the euro or other countries' currencies. Now, also on the Enbridge participating authorities, we have the Central Bank of the UAE. And according to the World Bank, they put this document out there saying central bank digital currencies for cross-border payments. And if I just do a Command F function, I type in Ripple, it was mentioned 26 times right here. XRP, Ripple cryptocurrency, next to XLM, Stellar Lumens. They also define stablecoins for cross-border payments, mentioning 2 digital currencies that fall into this category: RippleNet's native digital currency, XRP, and Stellar Network's native cryptocurrency, XLM, saying both Ripple and Stellar enable faster and more efficient cross-border payments relative to correspondent banking. Why would they only mention 2? This is telling us right in front of our face right now. And as you can see, if I just click through this right here on where it mentions Ripple, it just over and over and over and over again in this document. And on the same document, they said the Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority and the Central Bank of the United Arab Emirates announced in a joint statement the launch of their pilot project, where their vision of the project is to create a CBDC instrument that can be used for settlement of cross-border payments between commercial banks in the 2 countries as well as domestically. Now, if you guys remember correctly, back in November of 2023, not that long ago, Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, said it's refreshing to see the DFSA encourage the adoption and use of digital assets such as XRP. Ripple will continue to double down on its presence in Dubai, and we look forward to continuing to work closely with regulators to realize crypto's full potential. Now, I was out there for the Ripple Swell conference over in Dubai, and the DFSA, which is the Dubai Financial Service Authority, previously announced Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin in November 2022, and Toncoin was approved alongside XRP as well. So the DIFC and its Middle East and North Africa headquarters over in the MENA region said that 20% of Ripple's customers are based in the MENA region. So that checks off the Bank of Thailand, that checks off the Central Bank of the UAE. Now, what about the People's Bank of China? Now, this video right here of the vice chairman of China's Center for International Economic Exchanges is saying this. Now, I'm not going to play the audio because it has music that would get copyrighted, but I'll just read the text on the screen and then you can watch it on the video. But he's saying currently DCEP, the digital currency, our central bank, is about to issue an all-new cryptocurrency system based on blockchain technology, and DCEP will be operating at dual layers. The People's Bank of China, which is the central bank, will firstly exchange DCEP with commercial banks or other financial institutions. These institutions will then exchange DCEP with the public users. Hereby, I would like to state an opinion. I believe that the People's Bank of China has been researching this for 5 to 6 years. Now the system is becoming mature. I even believe that the People's Bank of China may be the first central bank in the world to release sovereign digital currencies, and central banks in developing nations will outsource their CBDC and payment technology to the private sector, and this is what Peru did for their CBDC. They even hired experts over at Ripple, Bo Li from the IMF, who was formerly over at the People's Bank of China. Now, the World Bank Group is the largest and best-known development bank in the world, mentions XRP and Ripple nearly 20 times in distributed ledger technology and blockchain document that they put out, stating that the Shanghai Bank announced that it is working on a remittance product using Ripple for the USA. And so over in China, Hong Kong, Singapore, Ripple has heavily positioned itself with multiple banks out there, and also the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. And if you guys remember back in 2019, when Norman Chan of the Hong Kong Monetary Authority was sitting right beside the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, at the Swiss National Bank Conference, well, here he is talking about using the latest blockchain technology to allow for greater capital flows between the Greater Bay Area in China. And also, there was a recent meeting with James Wallace sitting at the roundtable meeting with the Bank for International Settlements and the Hong Kong Monetary Authority.
But I think now the world has changed. Its complexity in this paradigm shift that I think, in my view, we should speed up and expand the scope of these bridges. The Connect schemes, take for example, the Greater Bay Area we just talked about. The Wealth Connect, the Wealth Management Connect is a great thing, but I think the scope is a bit too narrow. The amount, the maximum ceiling is also too low to make it user-friendly or attractive. So one should consider expanded it. Another way, I think I have advocated, I think so have Joseph, is that maybe we should take a bolder step in building a special bridge between Hong Kong and the Greater Bay Area. Because the Greater Bay Area, although it's big, it's just part of China. Therefore, we can afford to have some pilot scheme to see how it goes. One simple thing that I think we should consider is to allow a freer move of capital between Hong Kong and the rest of the Greater Bay Area. If the money is raised through, let's say, designated approved channels, the deployment of the latest blockchain technology, in my view, is able to ensure that the money that flow around Hong Kong and the Greater Bay Area is quite big already, would not go beyond that on the other parts of China. And therefore, this can be used as a pilot to see how this would impact on the capital raising and economic activities in the Greater Bay Area.
So I don't think this is a coincidence here, guys. I think this is all part of a divine plan, and you're starting to realize that right now, if you haven't yet already, or your head might still be in the sand because you're just looking at price action right now on the chart for XRP. But I found this very interesting, originally posted by 24-Hour Crypto, and then it's being reshared all over Twitter. But the collaboration between the Bank for International Settlements, Ripple, and Visa. Listen to this.
Ripple, for the past probably 7 or 8 years, has really been working with mostly financial institutions, always with businesses or B2B company, to provide technology that allows for more efficient movement of money cross-border. But over time, as our customer base got more comfortable with the technology and saw the opportunity and saw that we were able to abstract the complexity away and really just deliver the benefit they were seeking, we then sort of went to this next step, which was addressing liquidity by leveraging a digital asset. In our case, we use one called XRP as a bridge currency. But to this next step, which was addressing liquidity by leveraging a digital asset. In our case, we use one called XRP as a bridge currency between really a fiat transaction. So from the end user's perspective, they didn't really understand or need to understand that crypto was involved. All they saw was faster, it was cheaper, it was more reliable, it was available 24/7. So all big improvements on what was happening before. So we're licensed now in many states in the US. We have a BIT license in New York. We've applied for licenses throughout the world. We have our major payments institution license recently granted by the MAS in Singapore. So over time, we really want to be that go-to place where you can move money quickly whenever you want, however you want, and then start to layer on these other building blocks, if you will. So custody, I heard was mentioned in the prior panel, super important. We made an acquisition there last year. A Swiss company actually named Medico is now part of the Ripple family. And you can imagine tokenization is on the list, et cetera, et cetera.
Also talking more about the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, a report that they revealed highlighting automated market makers as the new type of DeFi exchange protocol that will open up numerous possibilities for DeFi users to engage in new financial activities. So going back to what Bill Gates originally predicted, it's going to get rid of brick and mortar banks. Everything's going these days from brick and mortar over to click and order. We saw it happen in front of our eyes with Amazon.com, putting a lot of companies out of business. We saw Uber and Lyft putting a lot of taxi cab companies out of business. We saw Airbnb putting a lot of hotel chains out of business. We saw Netflix put Blockbuster out of business. And so as more people start to understand, online technology, they get internet, they get their cell phones, and as blockchain technology starts to just completely revamp and improve the financial system, automated market makers are aiming to maintain liquidity in the protocol through liquidity pools of 2 or more crypto assets. And so that's going to allow you to become your own bank by becoming a liquidity provider, where you can essentially deposit crypto assets into a liquidity pool, paying transaction fees to the pools, and market takers, known as liquidity takers, can then exchange crypto assets for another. The exchange rates between these crypto assets are algorithmically determined according to the ratio of the crypto assets in the pool. So this can get pretty complicated, but essentially automated market maker protocols employ various economic incentive mechanisms to maintain a higher level of liquidity in their liquidity pools, which is going to incentivize massive whales, hedge funds, institutions, central banks to become, and you and I to become liquidity providers, primarily earning transaction fees as passive income through liquidity provider tokens, or LP tokens for short, which can be sold, transferred, traded, or used as collateral in any other DeFi protocols. So this would drastically impact XRP because XRP is going to be paired to a lot of countries' currencies, a lot of other cryptocurrencies, and also Ripple stablecoin as well too. And coincidentally enough, the European Union is banning Tether, and Tether just discontinued support for EOS and Algorand, USDT minting on both blockchains. And you can check the source right here through the description below, or you can just go to XRP Drops on Twitter to look at this. Now, I find this not a coincidence at all because MiCA, the world's first legal framework for crypto assets, is beginning over in Europe. And so MiCA is the Markets in Crypto Assets, established a standardized regulatory environment for digital assets across all 27 European Union member states. So MiCA applies to exchanges, crypto trading platforms, custodial wallets, advisory and management firms inside the European Union or outside the European Union, with those who wish to do business with any member of the 27 states. So this is massive, guys. And the goal is to enhance consumer protection, market integrity, and financial stability of the digital asset landscape. As the first legal framework for crypto assets globally, this represents a significant step towards the global regulation of crypto assets. So you can see right here in June of 2023 for 12 months, this is the implementation phase. It's ultimately 18 months. By June of 2024, there's another 6 months. Then by December of 2024, the end of this year, there's the transitional phase. This is 18 months. And by July of 2026, the transitional phase will end, where entities benefiting from the transitional measures must acquire authorization in accordance with Article 63 of MiCA by the 1st of July of 2026 to continue providing crypto asset services. So before the beginning of the transitional phase by December of this year, Ripple is going to introduce Real USD, a one-to-one US dollar-backed stablecoin offering transparency, stability on the XRP ledger, and Ethereum coming later this year. So they've been planning this, guys. They knew this was coming all along because they were meeting with the IMF. They were meeting with, higher ups at the World Bank. They're meeting with, over in the European Union, Ripple is absolutely massive over there. And if you look at what's happening right now with ETP, exchange traded products, this launched today. This is actually July 2nd, so yesterday, as Virtune XRP ETP on the NASDAQ Stockholm, one-to-one exposure to XRP, 100% physically backed, and the ticker is VIR XRP. So this is just one step in the right direction. And with a potential XRP ETF coming, that could be a major catalyst to push XRP to the upside, as long as Bitcoin's breaking out as well too. So XRP according to Ito Freena, is the real Bitcoin, and Bitcoin stands for beta test coin. And David Schwartz posted this a while back saying, I've been working on Bitcoin successor myself. After seeing what has worked well and what has not worked well, he wrote this back in 2011. And so Ito is saying that David is an early Bitcoin developer and one of the architects of the XRP ledger. And David Schwartz was asked directly if he's Satoshi Nakamoto, and that he says he has the skill sets to be, but it's most likely a group of people, is what everyone's been saying online. So was he a part of that group? Was he one of the early architects? Well, clearly he has the expertise to do so, but I don't think he would come out and openly admit that until after all is said and done. So he's keeping it all a secret. And then they just have these closed door meetings where they just laugh it up, probably with some whiskey and some cigars. And then they just get ready to reveal everything when the time is right, because they don't need money like you do to pay your grocery bills tomorrow, because they're sitting on hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. So this is a multi-decade game that they're playing here. Do you guys think that someone who has $10 billion needs XRP to go up right now? Of course they don't. So think how they think. Stop thinking like, a thousandaire. Start thinking like a billionaire and play the long game here. Now, a crucial July this month for Ripple, as a pro XRP lawyer, Fred Rispoli forecasts that the Judge Torres, might announce the decision on remedies this month, with potential dates as early as July 13th. The SEC is pushing for a hefty penalty of $2 billion, while Ripple countered that of a fine of no more than $10 million. So they're going to meet somewhere in the middle, closer to $10 million in my opinion. So that's virtually nothing compared to how much Ripple had to pay to fight this entire lawsuit the whole time. So in the meantime, until XRP's market cap dominance bottoms out and XRP starts trending the upside, the smartest thing that investors are doing in the crypto space is diversifying their portfolio. Now, there's a few categories of crypto that I'm extremely bullish on that I think are going to do very, very well. Obviously, meme coins are going to do very, very well, but they're not going to last a long period of time. They're going to be seeing a lot of retail income come in during the euphoria stage of the bull run. AI, I think, is very, very early still, as we have yet to see a lot of the use case be merged in to certain crypto projects, but slowly but surely we're seeing that happen. So it's mostly like a hype phase for AI right now. But the third sector of crypto that I am one of the most bullish on, and that is gaming, because we're starting to see a lot of these projects, and this was even last bull run, have these in-game currencies that could be used to purchase different items, different skins, different guns, different weapons to be able to play in their blockchain games, whether it be free play to earn games or pay to play to earn games. The gaming sector is going to absorb a large chunk of the liquidity as Total 2 starts to break out with Bitcoin. And right now, the gaming sector is undercapitalized at only $19 billion, with a lot of these projects right now sitting underneath a $1 billion market cap, whereas XRP is upwards of a $30 billion market cap, even though I think XRP will go to $1 trillion at some point. That's going to take a long period of time. So what I've been doing is diversifying my portfolio, so I'm not sitting there waiting for XRP to perform. And as other projects outperform XRP in the short term, then that allows me to be able to hedge to accumulate more for the long term. So one project that I'm extremely bullish on in the play to earn gaming space is Landrocker. Now, yes, I do hold this in my portfolio. That doesn't mean that you should. I just want to bring this for educational purposes only. And they're also a sponsor of the channel. So they have a very aggressive marketing campaign out there with a lot of crypto gaming channels on Twitter, on YouTube, and other social media platforms. And so that's why they had a very, very successful launch, doing over a 10x in 24 hours. And they recently just found a low, and they're breaking out right now from this descending resistance. And it's sitting at 0.006 cents right now. I still think they're below like a $3 million market cap, guys. So this project is a baby. It is very, very tiny right now. Now, if we look at Gala Games in the early days, Gala Games was one of the biggest performers the last bull run. And when Gala Games saw this surge upwards of 14 cents by September 2021, they saw a sell-off. Every project goes through this. It saw a sell-off of about 7 cents, dropping nearly 50% after launch. Well, the exact same thing happened for Landrocker. And if we look at Gala Games on the bottom of the screen right here, you can see that it was range-bound. It traded sideways for a period of time. Gala Games ultimately broke this descending resistance right here, similar to what's happening right now for Landrocker, breaking this descending resistance right now. If we were to trace up Gala Games' chart next to Landrocker's, it could look something like this, where the next move to the upside could be unimaginable. As you guys can see on the bottom of the screen right here, when Gala Games broke out, it broke out massively. I mean, it went from 7 cents all the way upwards of 81 cents and it just went parabolic. Then we went into a massive bear market, obviously, for 2022. So right now, as long as the bull run is still on, this project is in the infancy stage of this bull run, as it just launched literally 36 days ago. So just barely over 1 month ago. So if LRT can sustain this breakout, then I think it could do very, very well alongside the rest of the altcoin market as liquidity starts to flow back into the market with Bitcoin. Now, I believe they're getting listed on a new exchange very, very soon. So you can check that out on their Twitter. And right now, LRT is only at a $2.7 million market cap. To do a 10x, that's only $27 million. To do a 100x, that would be $270 million market cap. Now, a lot of these play to earn games last run, guys, went upwards of 100 million, 500 million, yes, even a $1 billion market cap. So to go to a $1 billion market cap, I think that's extensive, but anything's possible. And ultimately, to do a 10x for this project, I think that's still minuscule for what's possible when you see the development that they've been putting into their game to actually have something that's tangible for people to be able to play right now on PC. Now, I have a Mac, so I can't play the game right now, but as you guys can see, the gameplay just keeps getting better and better and better. And as long as the development team continues to put more effort, more energy into the game, attract new users, well, then that's only going to increase as excitement comes back into the play to earn gaming space. Because like I talked about in the beginning of this video, there's really only two types of markets. There's a trending market, and then there's a range bound market. Now, the market will either trend up, it'll trend down, or it'll be range bound sideways. And so while we've been range bound for a lot of these gaming projects, the excitement tends to leave the markets. And then when there's the least amount of excitement left, that's when we see God candles come into the space, and we see sectors like gaming, we see sectors like AI, we see obviously the meme coin sector starts to surge back up, and excitement comes back into the space. So play to earn gaming, blockchain based games, Web3 gaming is going to be one of the most exciting sectors during the next leg up if Bitcoin can break the all-time high and get closer to $100,000. Now, as that liquidity starts to flow into blockchain games, LRT is definitely a project you want to keep on your radar. Now, I'm going to leave a link in the description below to a video that I did about 3 months ago covering this project in depth for you to be able to learn about what they're doing for their play to earn game. So if you missed out on Gala Games, if you missed out on IMX, if you missed out on Bitcoin or even XRP in the early days, you do not want to miss out on this. So check it out, guys. The links will be in the description below. I know you're going to love it, because as the spending power of the dollar continues to go down in value, we're going to keep backing up our truck all the way to the bank, grabbing the bags, packing them, stacking them, leaving no bags left behind, because we believe that blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies are going to continue to go up in value. So I will see you guys on the next video. I will see you on bullrunners.com. As always, you know what to do. Stay bullish. So if you're ready to become the first millionaire in your family tree with crypto, and you want to get early access to our underground guidebook to become a crypto millionaire when it's released, then all you need to do right now is go to bullrunners.com, and you're going to get exclusive early access to alerts on explosive altcoins with timely notifications about high potential projects before they hit the mainstream market. You're also going to get access to daily market analysis videos where you can watch daily videos like this to stay up to date on the latest trends and updates in the cryptocurrency market. And you're also going to receive pro trading strategies and tools for you to access proven trading tips and institutional grade indicators to refine your trading strategy. So don't miss out on the launch of our new underground guidebook called Altcoin Secrets that's going to help you discover the next 100x altcoin. All you need to do to get early access is go to bullrunners.com, click the button on the page, put in your best email address, and you'll be instantly subscribed for the early bird list when it's released. We know you're going to love it.